He's transformed politics in America, surged it rightwards. He's going to do the same in Britain.
I think he is.
Watch this space.
You've probably said appalling things at appalling times.
Mickey, what?
They can't deal with the fact that somebody has a different view or that somebody is a bit controversial.
In the world.
No. In the world.
No, that's the wrong intonation. It's in the world.
The nonsense that comes out of this man's mouth is absolutely astonishing. But I like to listen to him.
No, thank you.
So, Kev, tell us about OTT cancel culture.
Well, we are, of course, locked in a cancellation process right now for...
Who with, Kev?
What's his name now? Gregg with two Gs.
Gregg with
Wallace,
2 Gs.
Three, I guess, if you count the one at the beginning of his name. He's very picky about that, by the way. He gets very fed up if people don't put the 2 Gs at the end. Gregg, nobody cares.
Yeah.
And nobody cares
Spell
about
it
your
properly.
career either, which, by the way, is over. However, look, there are 2 things about
Is it over?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
You won't see him on the BBC again, apart from his mea culpa on Newsnight.
Alternatively in news bulletins.
And you won't see him on any other channel either.
He's probably got a glittering career in Australia ahead of him.
Doing what?
You could go on that same island that Philip Schofield went on.
Yeah, well, as long as there's no return ticket, it works for me.
Well, there wasn't for Phil.
I've always found Gregg Wallace to be, arguably the most irritating man on TV. A man who has no right to be on a show like MasterChef. He has no culinary qualifications, no
Hold on
skills.
a second. Aren't you arguing against cancel culture? You seem quite
No,
pleased he's been
I'm not.
cancelled.
No. I'm getting to my point.
Right.
My point is, I'm glad he's getting cancelled, but I don't like the cancellation process.
Right.
And we are now...
So if you were going to cancel Gregg properly, how would you do it?
just fire him.
But why is it that the nation's broadcaster won't do that and they go through these machinations? I understand, of course, it's a production company and all these things, but ultimately the British Broadcasting Corporation are the ultimate sanction, yes or no. And they seem to... They love reporting on the crisis. They go full on. Their news bulletin is twice as long as anybody else. So this whole cancellation culture, they kind of almost fuel it.
Well, in fact, the Telegraph started it. All of the BBC scandals are never broken by the BBC. It's always a newspaper.
Yeah,
and then the BBC says, look how honest and transparent we are. We're covering the story too. Now, but this is what I don't like. I'm all for getting rid of Gregg Wallace. Thank God MasterChef might finally become watchable. But the cancellation process is so dreary and predictable. So it kicks off with one allegation and then someone will say, oh, I'll have some of that.
But some people will eventually come out in your defence. But let's have a look at this.
The point is that, this kind of Me Too feminism that we've had over the past few years, the thing that concerns me about it is that it infantilizes women and it destroys men. So it encourages women to see themselves as the victims of jokes and banter instead of just taking the initiative in the moment to tell the bloke to shut up, which is what we've tended to do in the past. Yeah. And also can destroy men on the basis of accusation alone. It looks like Gregg Wallace's career has gone down the toilet on the basis of these claims. And I think neither of the sexes benefits from this unforgiving culture.
I don't know. He was on top of the world there, Gregg Wallace, wasn't he?
See, but Brendan, love Brendan, but he's not in the know about this. This is not office banter. This is not like, sort of...
Do you know something the rest of us don't, Kev?
I've heard stories about anyone who's been around the TV industry. I have for many years heard stories about Gregg Wallace, and he fully deserves to be in the trouble he's in.
Has he ever sexually harassed you?
The allegations, he denies any wrongdoing, but the allegations are that he says things to women that physically upsets them. They get upset, and that's not acceptable. So he does deserve at least this investigation by the BBC. But the process, cancel culture, one person says, yeah, he was a bit nasty to me. No, I'll have some of that. And then suddenly you've got Vanessa Feltz saying, well, he's never done anything to me, but I've filmed this video to tell you about someone I know who said that he did something, and so on and so forth. So Melanie Sykes, who was on Celebrity MasterChef, this is what she said. She said that she was so traumatised by what Gregg Wallace said to her that it inspired her to quit her TV career. Guess what it was that he said to her? First off, he went up to her and he said, because she was a model before he went, do models even eat food? That was it. And the next thing that really upset her, traumatised her so much that she quit TV altogether, was he said, this could be good, being on MasterChef could be good for your career. Those were the two things that she said traumatised her.
And that traumatised her. But I think this is why the whole cancellation process, if you don't like what somebody says, I think we have to find a way where you can call people out and where you can simply deal with it straight away, as opposed to, because you said something, it almost means that you can never say anything wrong. I mean, if we went back in our careers, and this is ultimately where I get grumpy about it.
Let's not.
No, but if we did, you've probably said appalling things at appalling times.
Making what?
You have made jokes way
That's
too
a different Kevin O'Sullivan. I don't know.
No, OK.
I go out of my way to do that.
But it means that you can no longer make a mistake. And I want people to be able to make mistakes, have a genuine apology, and then move on, as opposed to you've made a mistake and then you're cancelled forever. That has to be.
So here's the thing, right? So if Gregg hasn't actually done, regardless of what Kev knows, if Gregg with 2 G's hasn't done
Three.
Three,
Arguably.
sorry, including the first one.
3GG.
3G. It's a terrible signal. But if he hasn't done these things, should he get his job back? I mean,
yes. I mean, if the investigation is an external investigation by Banter, that's the independent producer that makes this programme for the BBC, if that investigation exonerates him, he should get his job back. But ask Kevin Spacey. He won't get his job back. He's finished. He's finished.
Yeah. No, once you're cancelled...
He is being cancelled. He has been cancelled. And once you enter the awful cancellation process, it's a rigid system. You never emerge.
But you see, that's the point.
You
That's
never
the point,
emerge.
though, which is it's the process that kills off the career. And it's also the fact that people are unable and unwilling to speak up when it happens, and also to deal with things quickly. So it just dies again, and then the person becomes toxic regardless of their innocence.
Yeah. We live in the age of the accusation. That's the problem.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a problem with the fact that as soon as an allegation is made against someone, that they're suspended. So anyone can say anything about, he tried to rape me,
Who's
he made
the
this...
Coronation Street actor it happened to?
Yeah, Sean Wilson.
Yeah.
Sean Wilson returned to the street after, I think, 20 years or something, to play a part in the Gail Platt leaving scenes, which will unfold at Christmas. So he plays Martin Platt, rekindling their romance, and suddenly he's back on the set, thrilled to get this big break. He's kicked off about 2 days later because of historical sex allegations.
He pinched someone's bottom in 1987.
That were totally untrue, but he was destroyed by an unfounded allegation, and we've got to do something.
I think that has to stop.
We've got to do something about the age of the allegation and the accusation.
Moving on to someone who potentially always skirts the edge of cancel culture, you don't like people, James, who complain about Jeremy Clarkson.
Correct. I get really fed up about individuals who, for whatever reason, they can't deal with the fact that somebody has a different view, or that somebody is a bit controversial, that somebody is prepared to speak up, or that you've got somebody who has genuine experience of broadcasting, of writing, of making all sorts of TV shows and programmes, and then goes off, well done, with his money, buys a farm. Yes, he makes a TV show about farming. He has done more for farming in this country than any kind of bore-off farming programme on the Beeb. He has made...
Country File. Please.
Emphasis on the first syllable.
More than Matt Baker.
Yeah, bore-off file.
Matt Baker.
Exactly. I'm sorry.
He's the most boring man who ever lived.
Look, very nice, but very anodyne, very BBC. Whereas, I'm sorry, but Clarkson... he's animated, he's interested, he's passionate, and he's genuinely done things. And there are a whole generation who will complain about him because he says things which are a bit stupid. He says things where, if you actually question him about it, he will apologise if he's got too far. He will pick up things. He's a very, very clever individual, and he doesn't do it to offend.
I think with Jeremy, what he likes to do is he's fully aware of the hand grenade he's lobbing.
Yes, of course he is.
Unlike maybe someone with 3 G's in their name who can't read a room.
No, you're right. I mean, Jeremy Clarkson's a very smart guy. He's one of the most controversial people in the world.
After Kevin
come on,
O'Sullivan.
you've got to practice that. That's terrible.
All right, OK, let's do it. How's it go? In the world.
No. In the world.
No, that's the wrong intonation. It's in the world.
Oh, right, OK.
This is
anyway,
dreadful.
we're trying to do a Clarkson offer. Neither of us, and here's the thing, neither of us can do it because
That's
he's
why he's so
original.
successful, because
Yes,
he cannot be imitated.
Nobody can do a
True
Clarkson.
individual.
But I get really fed up with people who say, I can't watch that show, I can't watch Clarkson, I don't want to hear his views, I don't want to hear anything.
So don't.
Yeah, exactly. So don't. As opposed to trying to either remove him off your screens or cancel or anything else. And it's the same, by the way, with Nigel Farage. We have people who complain about him, will not be in the same room, won't listen to him. Where is popular discourse where you can actively disagree with somebody? I mean, the nonsense that comes out of this man's mouth is absolutely astonishing. But I like to listen to him.
No, thank you.
Because he's interesting and entertaining. And he's also very good at lunch. So, as a result of
My
that...
one true skill.
Yes.
Lunch.
He does great lunch.
Which morphs into dinner.
Well, we are now entering what can only be described in certain circles as the festive season, where you two will be lunching yourselves stupid. But what I want to talk about is enforced present buying. So the worst...
Christmas, in other words.
Yeah, Christmas. But like Secret Santa.
What is that?
Oh, you're going to buy Jeff something, and the budget is £20. Who's Jeff?
Yeah.
And what? But just get him anything. But you've got to spend 20. I haven't got the time, the inclination, the desire. This whole thing that, oh, well, they get us something every year, so we should get them something. Well, if we don't get them something this year, maybe they'll stop next year and we won't have to keep this charade up. When you receive a crap present from someone and you have to pretend you like it.
I do not have a crap present face, as in, oh, how lovely. So if it's crap, my face will... even if my words say...
You're not a poker player, then?
No, terrible. So my face will tell you that that's the worst present that you ever bought me. So, sadly... But I do think I like buying presents for people that I really want to... that I care about.
Not people I don't know.
But I don't like buying them for... Yeah. No, I'm agree with you. I think it's... it's forced commercialism. I can't bear it.
Well, it's the hallmark element of this whole period. It's like, 'tis the season to be jolly, not necessarily generous to people you don't like.
The thing I like about Christmas is the fact that the tradition and the religion is getting increasingly removed, and now we can concentrate on what I really enjoy about Christmas. And
listen to Wham?
No, the commercialisation.
Yeah,
of it.
he loves
I
Wham.
enjoy it. Yeah.
Listening to Wham and getting
Commercial.
on Baileys.
Yeah, exactly. Spending.
And also,
amounts.
you can eat things that you can't eat the rest of the year.
That's true.
You can... It seems...
An example, please, Mr. Max?
Well, I mean, you can't eat Quality Street for the rest of the year, and you certainly can't eat more than a few of them, but you can eat a lot of them.
Yeah. All right, so what's your...
Cheese footballs.
What's your...
Cheese footballs.
Cheese footballs.
Amaretto on ice. For the rest of the year, no thanks, but at Christmas time, yes, please.
Yeah,
You see,
yeah.
I mean, there's something about it.
My guilty pleasure is an enforced one, because my family know I have no self-control whatsoever, so they think it's hilarious to buy me one of those kilo bars of dairy milk.
Nice.
Then you
They
eat.
buy it every year, and I sit and I eat the whole thing in one sitting.
The whole thing?
Yeah.
One
Because
sitting?
There's a very overnourished man trying to get out here. Do you think Musk Derangement Syndrome will still be rampant by Christmas?
Yeah, I very much do. This is taking over from Trump Derangement Syndrome,
Which we've
a
discussed
very
previously.
common affliction of left-wing liberal people who actually sort of have meltdowns at the very mention of Trump, because he's successful and they're not. Now, this is now spinning on to embrace Elon Musk, the world's richest man, who, of course...
I'm not familiar with him. Tell me more.
who put $200 million into Trump's presidential election campaign. And
Pocket money.
And is now called, now known as Donald Trump, the president's first buddy. Now, Trump Derangement Syndrome kind of started with all these lefty idiots, particularly celebrities on Twitter, X as it's now called, saying, I'm leaving X now because of Trump, because of Elon Musk, because he's right-wing and I can't be on this toxic platform. I'm off the blue sky.
One of your favourites, Ellen, left, didn't she?
Nobody cares.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody cares that they've left. I don't care.
But listen how
hold on.
bad this is.
Now, Christmas gifts. What about car stickers?
This is how bad Trump derangement syndrome is, or Musk
Have a look at these.
derangement syndrome. These, right? But this is a fantastic conflict among the liberal left. They all bought Teslas because they're electric cars and they're good for the environment. Now they're having to make excuses for owning a car made by right-wing Elon, the first buddy.
The problem is they can't sell them because there is no second-hand value in a Tesla, so they're all probably stuck in some negative equity.
This is to
HP
assuage their guilt.
system.
This is to assuage their guilt that they bought a product made by right-wing Elon Musk, the friend of Donald Trump. And there's that one, the fun one that makes me laugh is, I bought this car before Elon went crazy. What they mean by...
No, he's always been crazy. It's just that he wasn't necessarily
He's
public.
not crazy. He's a smart guy. He didn't go... What they mean by Elon went crazy, they went, I bought this car before I realised Elon Musk was a right-winger who likes Donald Trump.
Yeah. But hang on a second. I think
Likes money.
there's an interesting point about Elon Musk. So Elon Musk, inventor of PayPal, inventor of Tesla, inventor of SpaceX, enormously successful. And there's an argument that some people seem to think that you shouldn't move out of your lane and you should stick to what you do and you should never be seen or heard. But here is somebody, everybody has political views, and Elon Musk is letting you know his. He's been incredibly successful. I don't care whether you like him or whether you don't. But I think you're right. I think there is something to be said about...
I don't think he has a lane. I think he can go anywhere he likes.
He can go anywhere he likes.
He's a polymath. He's a polymath.
He's a polymath. He's the richest man in the world. And we should probably listen to him in order to make up your own mind. You don't have to agree with
By
him.
the way, so he's a very smart guy. Why did he back Donald Trump? Yes, he's got right-wing opinions, but mainly he backed Donald Trump because probably before anyone else, he worked out Trump's going to win the next election. I'm going to invest in that, and that will be good for me and good for my business.
$200 million he'll probably get back. If the tariffs go on Chinese products, then Tesla will...
He could give a about $200 million. That's like a fiver to you and me. And he's now going to give $100 million to Nigel Farage and Reform UK. He's transformed politics in America, surged it rightwards. He's going to do the same in Britain.
I think he is.
Watch this space.
Should we move on?
Yes.
Now, as we're all dog owners here, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
What about bad ones?
Oh, yeah.
What about bad ones?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm a bad dog owner.
Oh, you're a bad dog owner.
Well, my dog is bad.
Your dog is so bad.
My dog is bad.
You've never seen
And
anything
they
like
always say blame the owner. It's like the children.
Chasbo, which is the real name for the dog,
Asbo.
will bark if you're in a restaurant and somebody is taking away a plate off a table, because Chasbo thinks that he should be able to inspect the plate before it's taken off,
not
because
wrong.
there might be something
I'm
on
with
it.
Chasbo.
He just
And I was told that he did this, and I was like, no, this is just some kind of front for whatever. It happens.
Yeah.
But this is not really what my ire is aimed at, because I think there's an element where if you are a good dog owner, you understand that dogs are different. Dogs will do what they do. It's not all about behaviour. There are certain things that they will just do. A bad dog owner, setting aside all the leaving poo bags when they shouldn't be left and not picking
Or
up
hanging
after your
them
dog,
on a tree.
hanging on the tree. Oh, we'll catch them later and all that stuff. That's not even the worst. The worst is when you get a dog owner, when their dog is savage, attacks another dog, and then they start having a conversation with their dog, refuse to put it off quickly, and don't tell it off.
Yeah.
That is bad dog ownership. Yeah. And there are so many people who are like, oh, but you have to be kind to the dog. No. Dogs don't understand unless you are really clear.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's bad dog ownership.
Have a look at this.
But we canal dog park, and this dog is allowed to bark at me continuously without being leashed. First time I've been barked at continuously. He should not be allowed to bark at a human being in this park.
That dog is clever. He sensed that bloke in the shorts was an arse and needed to be told it.
I don't think there's
repeatedly.
any problem with dogs barking at people. It's when they attack people. And you're right about the bad dog owners. They go while their dog is ripping your arm off and inflicting serious injuries on. They always go, "He's all right. He's only playing. He's only playing." Yeah, but I've just lost my left arm. You know?
Yeah, but hold on. When you've got so I took my dog out the other day. My 2 dogs now. Out the other day, and as I got into the wood, and there is a dog walker with 6 dogs. She's got 3 on the lead and 3 off the lead. Yeah. Now I've got a big Irish wolfhound, and
very big,
freaks other dogs out But he's very well trained, my dog, because if you don't train a wolfhound, you're in trouble. And she goes, "Which way are you walking?" I said, "Sorry?" "Well, which way are you walking?" I said, "What business is it of yours?" "Well, one of mine's intact and your dog upsets him." I said, "Well, I tell you what, you stay there and whichever way I go, you go the opposite."
Yeah.
But you see, again, that's bad dog ownership.
Yeah.
And
Well, they're not even her dogs.
Yeah, exactly.
You're getting paid £10 an hour.
And then probably, the people who are sending them on with a dog walker, that's bad dog
owners.
ownership.
Walk your own bloody
Walk your
dog.
own blooming dog. So I do think that this is... Somehow people need to be trained better, that if you're going to have a dog, it is, there's an element of, they are going to... I mean, the other day, some friends of mine, very good dogs, and they're very good dog owners, but sadly, one of their dogs did decide to go off and have a little nibble of some child's chips that they were eating on the beach.
Just the chips? Jesus.
Didn't want the child.
Couldn't be
just
the
wanted
child's
chips.
leg.
But then sometimes parents are bad as well, because if it's like, oh, they're frightened of dogs, and they sweep up their children, of course the dog's going to get excited.
When you've got a big Irish wolfhound, what we say when we're out walking is, beware of the ones with Nordic walking sticks, for they do not understand animals. So a child will walk towards our dog because he thinks it's a magical creature.
Yes.
Whereas the ones with Nordic walking sticks will wave it around, going, "Get it away from me." I said, "Don't do that. It'll think it's a game and it'll rip your arm out of its socket."
My dog's big mates with a Irish wolfhound that goes on Hampstead Heath. And what I love about dogs is they don't seem to have any idea of their own size. Do
No.
they? So they romp around as if they're on a completely level playing field.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas my dog's about this tall.
Yeah.
And the Irish wolfhound.
But then you see a spaniel, they're hardy creatures.
Oh, yeah.
And they are very funny. But also,
I wonder what dogs James owns. Is it a spaniel by any chance?
Yes.
And do you have a spaniel?
I do have a spaniel.
Well-
by the way,
And I wonder what dog you have.
I've got an Irish wolfhound and a lurcher.
There you go.
Anyway, moving on. I would
lurching.
like to talk about bad toilet etiquette. What I do not understand is how some people just do not realise that other people are going to use that toilet after them. And it is extraordinary, the state. Now, what a lot of people don't understand as well is that at the end of a Friday night in the restaurant, it's not the boys lose that are the worst.
It's
the ladies.
Is it? Is it?
In places
Way
I'm involved,
That's fascinating.
it's the ladies, which is way worse.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
It's
Way
where the
worse.
sick is. It's where the paper's all over the place. It's where the blockages happen.
Well, because I
think the gentlemen have been told so many times about toilet etiquette that they've arguably improved or not got worse. You've worked at the British Broadcasting Corporation. One thing you learn, never use one of the loos if the lid is down, because something appalling has happened. So there is a different etiquette in various
the
places.
BBC.
Yeah, but...
It's Gregg Wallace has been in there.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
But I do think... I mean,
won't
I
get
would
that
generally
chance
say
much longer.
lid down.
He's dropped his fourth G in there.
The seats should always go down, and I have been trained to do that. I didn't used to, but you live with a woman long enough, you do get to that. I'll tell you who the people who never put loo seats down. French.
Well, they don't
French
have them.
never put loo seats.
Well, they don't. I mean,
That's because they don't
traditionally,
normally have
don't
loos or
them.
seats.
They don't
Exactly.
have them.
Holes in the ground when you go to
Exactly.
the... They still have them.
No, they don't have those sand pits anymore.
They do.
Oh my God!
I've just done a
These people
drive-through.
are savages.
Savages. How are you meant to use
Thank
those?
God for the English Channel. You're like separating us.
No wonder people want to keep coming home. They're the little boats.
Yeah, they want
You
to
would get there somehow.
They want to come over for a decent
to
shit.
get there.
Are you implying that those people are arriving in dinghies? Well, that's all for this week, and I'd like to say a big thanks as ever to Kevin O'Sullivan and to our freshly grumpy James Max.